My name is Lawrence Ray, also known as LRW3, and this is the Talk to Me Nice podcast. And today, I got the legend himself, needs no introduction, but hey, let's go ahead and give him one anyway. For the people who may not know you, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
I go by the name of Billie Slum, man.
Now, just for people who might have seen, of course, we posted a photo back in December telling you all the videos on the way. And I just want to start it off by first apologizing both to you and to the people. Had a little hard drive issue. Sometimes with this content game, you know, we run into difficulties that we don't really enjoy. That was one of them. I lost a lot of videos, including one of his. So I just wanted to first start by apologizing and two, thanking you for your time again to come back, because I know you're busy. You got a lot of other things you could have been doing. So to come back and do this again, I definitely appreciate, because it was one of them ones. And hey, if I ever get that video back, hey, I might just still drop it just cause. But
cool, man. The main thing is we here now, man, and we running it back, man.
But
so it's all good.
I just appreciate your professionalism for coming back. I just wanted to say that on video. Keep the same energy on video.
Right on.
But so I heard the story before, but lucky, you know, for myself, I got bad memory, so I get to still hear the story again, and it'll be like the first time I heard it. Thankfully, man. Yeah. So, one, I just want to start checking your mental health, man. See how you doing, of course, man. Since the last time we spoke.
I'm good, man. It's funny you say mental health. I actually, black man, go talk to somebody, man. I'm actually in therapy, so.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. Were you in therapy last time I seen you, or something?
I actually was, but I'm taking it serious now. So you know, I think not even for any particular issue. I just think like we as
good for your mental.
Black men especially, man. Men period, but black men especially, man. With all the things that we have to deal with, I think it's good for us to talk to people on the regular.
Absolutely.
Talk to somebody.
Absolutely, man. I see you've been working, man. Of course, we'll get into all that during this conversation. But obviously, you already know, because again, we done did this already. How I like to do every video is I like to build a foundation. That means if they never seen you before, they ain't got to look nowhere else. They can get everything they need to know just by watching this. And I'm going to try not to go to the questions that I had previously, because obviously you already answered them. So I want this to be a little bit more natural.
Man. It's all good.
But yeah, for the people who don't know, let's just do a general overview. And then, as you know, we're going to break it down from the earliest age all the way to you now. So just a quick overview of you and yourself.
Yeah, quick rundown. Been doing music as far as I can remember, man. I started off singing in the choir. You know, grandma's got me singing in the choir. That turned into writing poetry. Poetry turned into writing raps. Started doing talent shows. Became a part of a local conglomerate called Mudhole Local Squad, which spawned GHPP. If anybody remembers, throw your hands up. I was the one sound like a little kid at the beginning of that song, which I was. We did the first Gangsta Grills with DJ Drama in Macon, Georgia. Had a group called On the Land. Fat Forward gets signed by Young Jeezy to CTE. Shout out King B and Carbon 15 to a group called True Breed. That, of course, everybody knows the story, what happened with that label. So that kind of dissolved, and I just been rocking and doing my own thing ever since.
That's fire. That's fire. So again, I'm gonna let you really take control of this conversation. Obviously, I'm gonna have some questions. But like I said, you a walking legend. This is walking, making history right here. And I don't even want to be disrespectful to the fact to feel like I have enough questions to really encompass everything you've accomplished and done. So let's just start it at the earliest age that you feel is of value to your story. How old? What age are we at that point?
All right, so let's go maybe like 15, 16. First of all, rest in peace to Otis Redding III. That was my first official studio experience, and he was the one that kind of ushered us into that. And I was young, just green, just wide-eyed, and just ready to get in there. And we was rapping 32-bar verses. We didn't know nothing about song structure.
That was my first studio experience.
Man.
You just be happy to be in
just
that
happy
booth.
to be there. Hearing yourself play back on, at that time, it was reels. You know, I'm kind of dating myself.
I gotta ask that, because my people who like the videos, they like to kind of stay on the timeline. I don't want you to show your age like you just said, saying reels, but what year generally was this?
I think we talking like 98, 98, 99.
98, that's fire. Okay.
Yeah, man.
So do you remember the first song you created, the name of it? And
the first song that we actually recorded was a song called War Cry. And that was on, it's funny we mentioned that, it was on some mental health type of stuff. Just talking about how we survive. And at that time we was kind of active in some things.
Of course.
Kind of surviving those circumstances, and we just put it on wax. And it's a song produced by the legendary John Amos, so R.I.P. to John Amos as well.
Absolutely. I know you said like growing up, because you're from Macon, of course, as I already stated. Just speak to Macon kind of, I mean, people nowadays, we know Macon. I'm not from Macon, so I don't like to speak on cities I'm not from.
Right.
Obviously, Macon does have somewhat of a reputation with it, if we're being honest. Speak to Macon as somebody who's from there. Does Macon get a bad rep as far as that goes?
So Macon encompasses all things, right? So, you know, of course the media is gonna do the highlight reel of all the negative stuff, but growing up in Macon for me was a wonderful experience. Now my neighborhood started off as kind of when I was like younger, that was kind of a place where all the, you know, kind of families who were established, working class families, they would move there, and that was kind of the it place to be. And then you started seeing like, you know, people migrate from Bloomfield, and it became what it is now. I'm from Bloomfield.
Okay.
That's like the southwestern section of Macon.
Yeah, because I'm not too familiar. I know Macon, I knew Bloomfield, and I know the east side. That's all I know.
Yeah, I lived on the east side too.
So Bloomfield is the east. That's how you know I ain't from
No. Bloomfield is considered southwest Macon.
Okay.
The east side is Fort Hill and, you know, all that area over there. So you got, you know, different hoods, and shout out to every hood, east side, west side, south.
Shout out everybody doing anything and making, man. Anything positive, let me say that. Anything positive.
But back then, you know, as we reached those preteen years and going into middle school, and that obviously that's when you saw a spike in the gang activity, and everything was like territorial. So it was certain places that, you know, at a certain point in time, because of who my older cousins were and the people I was affiliated with, I couldn't go. You know, so it's like.
Now let me ask you this: I don't be trying to be on no Vlad TV, no disrespect to Vlad. He's doing a lot better than me. At that time, because I know, like you said, it was heavily gang influenced. Were you? I mean, I gotta ask: were you a part of a gang, or what kept you away from a gang at that point?
So man, my life is really like the Kendrick Lamar album. I always made straight A's. I was in a gifted program. I just happened to be in a section where, you know, I had family that was affiliated, you know. And even if I wasn't affiliated, I was affiliated.
Yeah, that's one of those, like,
gifted by association. So I had beef because of other people.
Yeah, that's like me when I grew up, like, I'm from Puerto Rico. So, you know, Latin Kings is heavy. I've never joined a gang, but, you know, your whole family Latin Kings, so when they see you,
I mean,
you get beat like you a Latin King, so it is what it is, like whether fairly or unfairly.
Yeah.
So that's kind of so.
I kind of dodged your question, so let me answer directly. Yeah, I was once affiliated. Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna let you rock. I said I ain't trying. That was a good enough to me. I was actually kind of impressed. Like that is a perfect.
Yeah, I kind of glossed over it, but you know, I mean, for anybody watching this who knows me, I don't want to, you know.
Understandable. Yeah, I was gonna let you rock though, to be honest. But so all right, we growing up in Macon, we got in the studio. That was the first, like you mentioned, 15, 16, first time we really in the actual studio. So how did we leverage our first opportunity to get in the studio? What else did we do after that? Was there like a gap until we started taking it serious, or did you hit the ground?
Nah, man, I had a big homie. Shout out to bro, I ain't gonna say your name, but I had a big homie who was in my neighborhood, who was really heavy in my neighborhood, and saw my potential. You know, my nickname in my neighborhood is Greedy, so everybody else knows me as an artist, officially Billie Slum, but in my neighborhood they call me Greedy.
I gotta ask, why they call you Greedy?
That really came from my grandma. She used to call me Greedy good. I was always, you know, eating whatever, so it just kind of stuck with me.
Hey, your family always give you the worst nicknames too.
Yeah, she's
Greedy kind of hard though. I like that though.
Yeah, but Greedy was a different person than Billie Slum is, so that's. We'll get to that. But yeah, like I said, I had a big homie who was, he was heavy in our neighborhood. I just put it like that. And he just saw my potential. And he was always tell me, hey man, you don't need to be doing X, Y, and Z. You can rap, get your ass in the studio. Go to school, keep your little job, and we're gonna get you in the studio. But I was trying to do what they was doing.
Yeah.
I don't know. If to this day I can't. You know, it had to be, you know, a higher power that was channeling through him to tell me to. I don't know, because I don't know why he singled me out of all our little crew. Hey man, keep going to school, keep working your job. You know, and right after that, I had a child. So I was in school with a child. The whole nine. So
absolutely, it's crazy focused, too, man. Because the most talented people, just like yourself, they don't never want to do at first what they so talented to do.
Yeah, man.
But it'd be the people who not as talented who like actually want to go do it. It'd be like, I guess that's the frustrating part, because like even me now, I got some little homies who like super talented, just want to be the street life, want to go do other things. Like, bro, if you put that same energy into this thing you actually good at.
Yeah,
man,
it's crazy, man, because the people who doing the opposite of what they're telling you to do is the ones who want to see you do good. And that was my first time seeing somebody who was, he wanted to be basically like you're a bird, man. He wanted to take that role and doing everything opposite of what he telling me to do. And I'm like, but you don't worry about that. You do this. So, I appreciate that to this day.
And that's one of those too. I'm not as talented as you, so I can't go do that. But if I want to be Master P, if I want to be Baby, you got to go find you a Wayne. So, baby, that's why
I wasn't thinking about it like that.
That's one of those. Like, I want to do something different, but I need a vessel to do it in. And if you just do right, we both can go with it. So that's dope. Like,
I wasn't thinking about it.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
That's dope, and I'm glad somebody stayed in your ear, because, like I said, is that the moment you change? I mean, obviously, in most stories, the first person who tells you to do right, you don't be like, okay, I'm gonna go do right. What actually changed you? Because I know, like I said, I'm not trying to get too deep into the depths of like what you were doing, that might have not been what you were supposed to be doing. But I noticed like you said, Greedy and Billie Slum, two different people. So,
man.
Not to get too deep into the story of Greedy, but when did that change? Obviously, people already in your ear telling you need to focus on this. What is the moment that made you be
I'll
like,
tell you this that moment, man. So like I said, the timeline of events, I'm trying to be something that I really wasn't. I was a part of it, but I knew there was something greater for me. Having a big homie to see that potential in me and kind of push me in that direction. And then right after that, having a child, not having my first child. I'm a teenager, and not only that, my first child is a special needs child. So that's what really, like,
that's a wake up call.
Yeah, that, like,
child itself is a wake up call. But special need, that's even more attention. So for year purposes, we started first studio 1998. What year is the child born?
98.
90. Oh, okay. So we back to back. I just recorded the song.
I'm telling you, this is like a quick timeline, man. Yeah, okay. So I spent a lot of time, in hospitals, all kind of EKGs and needles in the arm, and all this kind of stuff. She having seizures back to back to back, and I'm doing that. I'm living my. I'm still trying to be in the street. They again called from a baby mama, hey, we having to rush the baby to the emergency room, leaving where I'm at, then having to try to stay in the hospital all night, get back up and try to go to school.
So hold on, we in the streets, we in the school, we in the studio, we at the hospital. What is your, like, I'm glad to hear your mental is great now. What is the mental like there? Because at this point, you're being tugged in different, like, life-altering directions, and you being tugged mentally, because I want to be in the streets, but I want to go be a father, and I want to go be an artist. Where is our mindset at this point?
All over the place, but just looking back in retrospect, it was, I don't know what you believe or anybody else believe, but I believe in the higher power. I believe it's that higher power saving me. Like, literally, because I mean, it's certain stuff that I won't say on camera, but it's like, every time a situation happened where I had to end up being pulled away, come to find out my homies that went through something, either something that got shot up or raided or.
So God doing his best to keep you away.
Yeah. So just looking at it, I missed a lot of those moments, like really by the skin of my teeth, but not by the skin of my teeth, but it was God.
That's absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, blessings to you, of course, your child going through that at that time. So I know you mentioned that's what set you apart. So, all right, we getting out the hospital, the progression has started, you ready to change. What was your first steps? Because your story, as much as I hate to say it, is not too dissimilar from other people going through, struggling with street life, but you want to do right. So those who haven't really figured out their pathway, what was your pathway when you decided I'm done with you? And how were those conversations with the homies? Were the homies still cool with you, or how did that interaction go?
No. So I mean, everybody. I just became a workhorse. So you know, like I said, I had a big homie. He set up a situation where we could be in the studio, and I just became a workhorse. I became like a Wayne. You know, everybody else be out doing whatever. I'm in the studio all day, every day. When I'm not working or going to school or got my child, I'm in the studio. That was me. I just became a workhorse, and I just developed the work at an early age.
And I just want to shout out your people there, because it sounded like the people around you when you were ready to change, they was very supportive of that, which ain't always
I mean, I was changing in the midst of it because, I mean, the situation, the setup we had was basically in a trap. So, I'm in one room working, and in another room there's other stuff going on.
Hey, stay in that room though. Don't come out and don't see nothing. You stay in there.
Yeah, I mean, we end up getting raided anyway, and that was another step that made me say, hey, I'm not finna be a jailbird. So that was really what woke me up.
Okay, perfect. So let's get more. So now from that moment until the actual start of, because are we still greedy at this point, or have we became Billie Slum?
Yeah. I'm still greedy at that point.
So when did Greedy end and there was a clear, this is Billie Slum now?
Like I said, greedy is I still am him, but not, if that makes sense. That was just like a nickname. I never had an artist name officially. So when that situation kind of, it's only so many times you can get, the police can hit your spot before it's like, okay, it's time to do something else.
Absolutely.
And at that point, I just became.
Was Greedy your first rap name, or was?
I guess it was a nickname and a rap name. Yeah.
So did we go directly from as far as rap name? 'Cause I know every artist has like a few rap names before they really find their niche. Was there anything in between Greedy and Billie Slum, or it just immediately went to that?
Nah, I just immediately went to Billie Slum.
Okay.
So Billie Slum, we wanted to be like, I was probably one of the only kids. I ain't gonna say only, but one of the few in my city, in my area, that was a heavy Wu-Tang head, right? And so if you know anything about Wu-Tang, they all had aliases. So, RZA was Bobby Seals, Method Man Johnny Blaze. So we wanted to be the southern version of that. So my man Wolf, OG Wolf, shout out OG Wolf, he called himself Jim Dandy, Billy Bob Hawkins, or something like that. So we just want to be like the down south version of Wu-Tang. And I just came up with Billie Slum, and it
just stuck like
that. Yeah.
Dope. So, talk to me about the early stage. I mean, '98 we was in the studio. Mm-hmm. When we officially decided we full on the music. How was that journey? What was the type of music we were putting out at that time? Because I know you eventually went into groups, but we started out as a solo artist, I'm gonna assume, correct?
No, I started out in the group.
Oh snap! Okay,
started out in the group, man. It started out in the group. Like I said, it was the Mud Hole. It was GHWP. It was the On the Land. The On the Land was the primary group that I was in. And like I said, I became a workhorse. I did all the song structuring, all the beat picking, and coming up with hooks and stuff like that, primarily. And then, life happens. People get locked up. People go through changes. I'm still on the street. I'm still working. And, I never stopped. So some people kind of lose that passion. That was a passion that drove me. I'm like, I'm going to make something happen. I'm going to make some type of dollar from this, which I did.
Absolutely. So, okay, timeline purposes again. We started the group in what year? You don't have to be circa, of course. No.
We talking like maybe 90. We was like little kids, like 96, 97, 98. Okay. First real studio session. Put out projects like 2000, 2001.
And how do you, what was it? Because projects in 2000s, pre-streaming era for the people.
Strictly hard copies, man. And we would hit, what I would do, I had a business mind at an early age too, since Big Homie wouldn't let me do what I really wanted to do. Okay, let me take this, and this gonna be my work. You know what I mean? So we would post up at all the different gas stations.
I was gonna say you was the gas station. I didn't want to cut y'all out. I knew you was at the gas station. You were out the train, homie. I got this.
I was working at Foot Locker. I used to trap my CDs out of Foot Locker. People who know me, you know what's up. Yeah, so I was working like that.
I'm gonna put you on the spot as, like I said, an OG who's been in the game pre-streaming. What do you think is tougher now? streaming or the like hand by hand CD sales?
Of course, nobody listens to CDs now, but back then,
Like, is it harder comparing the two different eras? Is it harder now to go get a bunch of streams, or was it harder to trap the CDs out?
it's hard to get the streams, man.
Why would you say that?
I mean, you can get the streams, but let's be honest. The way they structure it, you really don't know what they making versus what they're giving you.
Absolutely, yeah. I think right now the streaming sites give you like a
fraction of a penny. Yeah, that ain't nothing, man.
Yeah, at least it's
so
a CD.
The thing now is to have your presence out there, have your content, your music out there, and generate shows and merchandise, tangible stuff that people can buy once they buy into your brand. But back then, we was cashing out on CDs. And I didn't care about being called local because we was cashing out.
Absolutely, yeah. I go buy back then the CD to get like a pack of 100 was like 20. I don't remember. Yeah. $20. You start selling them. I remember everybody selling CDs $7 to $10.
$7 to $10, man.
You got to think about that.
And how we kind of cornered the market, so to speak. Like I said, I would be trapping at Foot Locker. When I get off of work, I take off my little referee shirt. We go across the street to the little gas station across from where the Chuck E. Cheese used to be. On Mercy, if you're familiar with Macon.
Yeah, by the Macon Mall.
We used to post up there till like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, dangerous, not knowing we're going to get robbed. And then we would go back to our hood, post up at the store, and we still be like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And people then we would get up every Saturday. This is my plan I came up with. We would get up every Saturday, hit every barbershop.
Yeah, cause everybody, their mom gonna be, everybody, their daddy gonna be in the barbershop on Saturday.
That's what we would do. We would get them my Cutlass. I had a 85 Cutlass. We would jump in there, hit every barbershop. Then we would go to Smiley's Flea Market.
Shout out.
Well, I would go to Smiley's Flea. That's why I said I always had a different mindset and different work ethic. I'm doing this on behalf of my group, but we still cashing out.
Oh, that's dope. How did the first group end?
It never ended. We still rock. We put out an album in 2017.
Oh, y'all still together?
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah, it's just like I said, life happened. I was the first one with kids. Or a kid. So, I kind of grew. I was forced to grow up fast. So as the years progressed, they have kids having to get jobs, and you can't feed like Big Boy say, can't gamble, feeding baby off that dope money. So people go get jobs and they lose the passion for the music. Whereas me, I always was multitasking, and I never stopped or strayed away from the music, so I kept going.
So did the group, obviously y'all never broke up, did y'all just like take breaks then, it sounds like, in between like working together?
Yeah. If they call me today and say, hey bro, let's put something together, it's on site.
I like that. So I guess my question, to clean up that last question then is, when the group stopped putting out music as consistently, I guess, what did we start doing then?
I kept going. By that time, my younger cousin, Rail, shout out Rail, he would always tell me, man, I make beats. Be like, okay, all right, cool. So he would let me hear stuff. I'm like, okay, you keep working. So by that time, the group had stopped putting out music. My cousin Rail had went to college, moved to Atlanta, graduated, and he started letting me hear some stuff. I'm like, okay, you got extremely better. So he's like, yeah, man, I got a little setup up here at my house. So naturally, I started going up there, and we started putting out projects just with me. You know what I mean? And
now, for people who don't know, obviously you're super talented as a rapper, but you also sing. At that point, these tapes that we were putting out, were these R&B, were these rap?
It's a strictly rap. I would like accent little stuff with singing, but I never felt, because at the same time my homies would clown me, with singing, because I do the Tank and the Stevie Wonder thing when I sing with the head shake. So they would tease me about that. So that always kind of made me shy about like just coming on out with it. So I would hint, accent little stuff on hooks and stuff like that, but I never would like really just open up and just sing.
Okay. So from there, we do those couple of projects, and again, just for the right timeline purpose, it's still pre-streaming. So we still pushing the CDs, or?
Yeah.
Cause streaming didn't really come about till what, about like heavily till about 2010-ish,
2011, 12-ish.
Yeah, that's when it kind of was alright.
Maybe talking like maybe 13.
Yeah, I think if you was early on the wave, you might have been around 11 or 12, but I don't think it really like took off.
So we still pushing hard copies, and like I said, I'm still cashing out on those. That same method that I always use. At the same time, while I'm, kind of building my solo, I guess, buzz is the word you want to call, or following. Another homie that grew up with us, Carbon 15, shout out to Carbon 15. At this time, he's now running with Jeezy. And that whole trap or die movement is exploding at the same time that I'm doing my thing. So he's like, hey, Greedy, King want to have a meeting with you. And I'm like, okay, what about, potentially signing you or whatever. So I'm like, okay, cool. At first I was hesitant because the style of music that I always made was like in that Dungeon Family vein, as far as like my rap style. And they was on some heavy like trap stuff. Even though I come from that wasn't necessarily my rap style because that wasn't my influence.
I feel like I relate to that because like even me when I make music, I'm like the super lyrical, like but down in the South, like those up north, they appreciate it, but down here in the South, you
just
just
a backtrack. Like, again, my influences was Wu-Tang, Dungeon Family. So obviously my music wasn't, heavy trap influence. I spoke about stuff. It was still like lyrically inclined.
It wasn't the same type of thing.
Right.
It's not the bob your head type thing. It's for the spitters basically. More so gonna like it.
Yeah.
So I should have asked this question earlier, but like, how was that too? Because I know like with me personally, when I wanted to make music, I couldn't make a lot of collabs with people because you just sound somewhat awkward. Because either I'm too lyrical on your kind of like turned up beat, or like now you just look out of place trying to rap with me. So how was that trying to find people to collab with?
Just imagine, I don't know, let's say imagine yourself being like super lyrical on some, heavy trap type beats. So the synergy didn't never really sync for me into my own personal style until those later projects with the group and my cousin, like kind of developing his sound. So the type of beats that I want, I didn't really get until around that time. So early on, I'm just being super lyrical over trap beats, basically.
Looking back on it, did it sound good? Or
because the streets loved it.
Oh, okay.
Now as far as like the audio quality, people still ask me for those CDs until to this day. Like, you should put that on stream. Like, the audio quality, because we were recording in closets.
Man, yeah. Come on. You gotta know the time that you rapping into. That's
man.
like so.
Like, you should put it on stream. Like, nah, that's not a representation of how I want, my sound to people to present my sound today. So now, but people still find those on the. It's like a.
So let me ask you this for the people who see this: you don't want to put it on the streaming site, but if the true Billie Slum fans want to hear it, you will give it to them. If
yeah. I've had people to purchase CDs. Hey man, make me a CD and I'll buy it. They offer you $20, $30, $35, $40 for a CD of some old stuff when we record in the closet.
Well, I have it to you same day. You gonna give me $40 for a CD?
Yeah.
I get it to you most definitely. That's dope though.
So those are the real true fans, and we appreciate them. They still hit me up or hit OG Wolf up, and we make it happen for them. Before it's like putting it on streaming and. Nah, I don't want to do that.
Nah, that's understandable. So, all right, we doing the projects with Cuzzo Rail. We still trapping the CDs out, and then that's when, like you said, you had
a call from Carbon. Carbon grew up in Bloomfield with us, so we was all running around the side. We was running around the same circle. I'll just leave it at that. Everybody intermingled, like King, Jeezy, our people. We all intermingled.
I gotta ask this too, because I'm not from Macon, so I hear it all the time. Is Jeezy from Macon? I guess I gotta ask.
No. I mean, he'll tell you that he's not from Macon. He's from.
He just was.
He was born in South Carolina, raised in Hawkinsville. He met King in boot camp. Both of them were locked up together. King is from Duncan Block. Duncan Block is Macon, so King's from Macon.
So is that where the confusion came from? I guess maybe he was just around King a lot.
So they got together when they got out of boot camp, and they went to work. And so he set up shop in our city and became, what he became.
Yeah, because I always wonder, because I've never heard Jeezy actually say that, but I know people be like trying to mention it like he said that. That's why I asked somebody from Macon, because I ain't from Macon, so I ain't never known.
He definitely got roots in the city, but born and raised there, no.
Okay, shout out Jeezy too, by the way. So obviously you met with King, you met with him. How did that meeting go, if you remember? Because I know he wanted to sign you. Did you actually end up signing, or?
I did sign. He said, okay, we're gonna do a solo deal for you, but just to kind of get the platform going. we're gonna put you in this group called True Breed. And we did a series of mixtapes. You can go find those on all. That should be online.
Yeah, I was on that pill.
Yeah, the Shield Game mixtapes, all that with me, Slick, Blood Raw. You can go find out. You got the Shield Game series. You got a couple other series. Shout out to DJ Folk.
Is this like 06? I'm assuming you're talking that pill?
Yeah, 06, 07, 08.
Yeah, that's that Piff era.
Yeah,
so, okay.
Just make sure I'm with if you want to look that up, look up True Breed, look up the Shield Game volumes 1 through 3, a couple other series we did. I can't think of the names right now, but if you look up Shield Game, you'll find it.
Was this your first time being a signed artist, or?
Yeah.
So how was that? Yeah. How was the difference from going unsigned, putting the work in? Well, you still putting the work in regardless, but the difference between unsigned and signed?
It wasn't no difference to me because I still moved like an independent. I still was a workhorse, and so even on the days where we were not it wasn't our day to be in the studio, I was still working with Cuzzo, like Cuzzo up there too. So if I'm out in y'all studio, we was recording with like Dirty South at the time.
So you was recording with Cuz. Were you able to put that music out too? Because now that you signed,
I did what I want to do. So shout out to King because he kind of let us rock.
Shout out to King too because I sat down with, I don't know, I'm pretty sure he from Make It 2 Drip Goo. He was working with King too, and it sounded like King's pretty. He just kind of let the artist kind of.
He kind of let it rock, man. Yeah, of course he had certain things that he wanted done, and certain structure. And I think it was gonna pan out to be a pretty good situation for that group and that style of music at that time. But I'm kind of glad it worked out the way it did.
Me as an interviewer, I'd be wrong if I just ignore what you said.
No, I mean because again, this is not every case, but when you sign to an artist who's still trying to climb the ladder and build their platform, a lot less focus is going to be on the other artists.
That's kind of like,
and that's all it was. I don't have no bad blood or nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of too like artists who like shy away from signing to the indies because they want to go be on a major type thing. Same situation. Like, yeah, that's super dope. Everybody wants to go to Atlantic or the top guys, but you got to think about where you're at in that line. Same thing. Like, yo, if you number 2 on the indie label, but you number 10 on the major.
10. Number 236, nice, man. I'm trying to be nice. A lot of these artists are write-offs. There's so many people that I've met over the years. They got major deals, and I've been around all of it. And yeah, man.
They are write-offs, so they mad. Oh, the label can't do nothing for me. Well, what did you expect a label to do if you looked at their roster and seen all R&B artists and you a rapper?
But not only that, it's just about your. Once you get there, you shouldn't have the mindset that I made it. Your work ethic should kick in 100 times fold once you get there because they want to see what you're gonna do to make them a profit.
Absolutely.
But I'm glad it worked out the way it did. Like I said, I don't have no people come in and say, why you such and such said this about Jeezy. Why I don't have no issue with, bro. I ain't got no issue with dude.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's rooted in business. And sometimes. The older you get,
and at the same time, you got to think about it. They trying to establish his brand, continue to build his brand, and run a label at the same time. Now, was everything done, proper? No, but at the same time, you got to consider that we all young and they still learning.
Absolutely.
So.
No, absolutely. So that situation ends. What's next?
Me and Carbon get together and we just start working. Network. He linked me up with DJ Burn One. I put out a tape with Burn One. I started linking with other artists, getting featured. Scott ATL.
I heard that name, Scotty ATL, before.
Yeah, Scotty. He does the grills now up in the city.
Okay, that might be well.
Shout out Scotty. Linked up with Fiend. Did some work with Fiend. Linked with Warren G.
Talk about that Warren G. Now I know some people down in the South may not appreciate that as much, but that is a crazy.
So one of his homies again because of affiliations. One of his homies was in prison with one of my OGs, RP Gangsta Dre, and he kind of linked the situation up.
And Warren G, what was the song? Because I know y'all did.
I got a song with. He actually gave me. He gave me a list of tracks. And I don't if I could ever find that CD, it'll be golden and it'll be worth $1 million. But I used 2 of those tracks out of a list of, I think, like maybe 15 that he gave.
So he just had like some open verses. He just let you take the songs.
Nah, it's just like records, like Warren G records. So you can look up one. It's called Spotlight. The other one is called I Just Want You. I think it's on the internet somewhere. You can find it if you look it up. But I actually put Spotlight on one of my tapes.
How many tapes do you got out too? Cause
I don't know, man.
every time, we did a few tapes, then I moved on. We did a few tapes.
Yeah, I never. People ask me that. I never stopped and really counted. I can count like albums that I have on streaming. Maybe like maybe 4, 5, 6, maybe.
Dope. Okay.
But outside of that, tapes. You can find me on a lot of tapes out there if you just kind of do your Googles.
Okay, so, all right, so we linked with Warren G. Mm-hmm. You had some other crazy features. Mm-hmm. Who else did you have just while we on this topic?
Slick Puller, obviously. I worked with Freddie Gibbs. Right when Freddie Gibbs came to the fold. Yeah.
People who really like on that up north style, that's fire. Freddie Gibbs.
Yeah. Me, Gibbs, and Fiend on the same track called "Be About It." Yeah, and you can find that. I think I put that on one of my tapes too, so you can find that if you Google it.
Dope. So, all right, we left Kinky. Where are we at and what year are we at as far as the next important step in your journey? In
my journey, like I said, me and Carbon kind of hit the ground running once that CTE situation kind of fizzled. The main thing that I do want to point out is like the whole time we around all this industry stuff, I'm building my relationships with DJs and
people don't realize how important that is.
Yeah, relationships is worth money, man. So that's where I kind of kept some skin in the game where people remember me and remember my name and remember my work ethic. So yeah, I'm building relationships this whole time, and like I said, once the situation fizzled out, me and Carbon just kind of hit the ground running. Jumped into my first official, I guess, album, if you will, and that's around time, like you said, streaming started becoming heavy, and we did that. And I've really just been going ever since.
Dope. So, let's say you've been doing a lot of stuff recently. So you've been linking with Carbon. What recently? I guess we're gonna jump now because did anything happen from there to now?
Yeah. If you want to jump into the whole R&B thing,
yeah, when do we start though? Because people who don't know, like you get crazy with the pen, of course, but I'm jealous because you can sing. Like,
nah, man,
I want to be able to sing, man. That's where the money at for real. You know what?
You're right, because ever since I started the R&B journey, that's when I started getting like booked.
That's because everybody. No disrespect. It's a lot of talented rappers, but
it's a cajillion rappers, man.
But it's very few people who can like naturally. Like, don't get me wrong, the industry behind all the smoke and mirrors, they can make anybody as talented as they want them to be. Mm-hmm. But for you to be naturally able to sing, that is a completely different thing, and that's super dope.
Appreciate it.
So one, because earlier on you mentioned that you was kind of hiding it at first because what made you say, you know what? I don't even care no more. I'm about to get on my singing.
I always credit my homeboy Goody. My homeboy Goody Supreme. He challenged me. He was like, man, you should do a full R&B project. I'm like, I don't think people want to hear that from me. He was like, dog, I'm telling you, man, do that shit and watch what I tell you. So it's kind of like, not really a dare, but like a challenge.
Yeah. Let me ask you this too, because you were around during the heavy auto-tune era when everybody and their mama was throwing auto-tune on their songs trying to sing. Mm-hmm. At that point, why you never was like, you know what? Y'all need auto-tune to do this. Let me kind of flex on y'all and do one. No
because
auto-tune.
I felt like nobody, I mean, I got a couple songs here with auto-tune on it, but I felt like nobody really wanted to hear like true R&B from me. Somebody named Billie Slum. You know what I mean? And he was like, nah, dog, you can do that shit, man. Just do it.
That sound like though, like if I didn't know you, because now of course I listen because I know you talented. Mm-hmm. But if I didn't know you and I heard Billie Slum, I would naturally assume, in all honesty, that you were probably like a soulful R&B blues type of singer without knowing you. I honestly wouldn't have expected you that like. maybe if I thought deeper, I might think rapper, but I'm probably thinking more soulful. Like that sound like, I don't know, back
And
in
it
the
makes
60s.
sense now. It
Right.
makes sense now. Yeah.
That seemed like
at the time in my mind, I was like, no, nobody don't want to hear that from me. But at the time, I'm thinking like regionally, like these people know me, but the world internationally they haven't really caught on yet, so I can do whatever.
So talk. I know I cut you off. I didn't mean to. Talk
No,
about that R&B journey. Now that we ain't worried no more. We going full steam.
Yeah, I linked with my man Craig. Shout out Katie.
Hey Rad, Hit Class Music.
Hit Class.
Shout out.
And that first session, I said, man, this is what I want to do. He's like, oh, you ready? You ready? You gonna do this if you gonna do it, you gotta be for real. So I was like, yeah. He's like, man, you gotta. So that first couple of takes, we actually cooked up on the spot. And I always been a dope writer. I've written songs for other people. That first session, we came up with a dope concept, and the very first song that we recorded is like the song that people love the most and the most streamed. And my first couple, song? It's called Right Now. Okay. My first couple takes, he made me do it like 1,000 times. He's like, man, you're not coming with it, man. Be serious, man. Stop trying to be cool.
For those who don't know, K-Rad, Crad, man, he don't play about that music. He gonna get you right.
Yeah. He made me do it like I know at least maybe 10 times. Like, nah, you gotta come on out with it, because I was trying to be cool and like chill sing. And nah, come on out with it. I know you got more. And he kind of pushed me. That session lasted, I know, about maybe 5-6 hours for one song. And once I got comfortable, it was on from there.
All right, so we link with we link with Crad, and then how do we start? What do we do from there? What do we start pushing on the R&B circuit? Are we then more heavily pushing R&B? Are we still trying to be a rapper? Or?
No, so we did that first project. It's called Crushed Velvet. He produced, I think, 7 of the joints on the project, I think. And he did 7 joints. And we hit the ground running with the R&B, man. Around the same time, I linked up with my man Pratt.
Kenny Pratt. Hey,
yeah, cause so at the time I'm recording that project, I said, okay, let me go ahead and just get my nerves out, and I just want to jump out there and do like a live session just to let people know, hey, this is what I'm doing. So I just made a random post one day. Said, hey, anybody know any like keyboard players? Had never met Kenny ever in my life, and somebody tagged his name. A bunch of people tagged a bunch of different names, but for some reason I was drawn to click on his name. I clicked his name, shot him a DM, said, hey man, how much would you charge for X, Y, and Z? He gave me his price, and I'm an energy person, so he followed up and did what he said he was gonna do. Now you reach out to a lot of people, especially around, the regional areas, especially if they know of you. It's like, they kind of give you the Hollywood runaround. But when I linked with him, the energy was like organic. So when I linked with him, talked to him on the phone, hey, bro, I do this. That's his history.
That's crazy. That's how I met Kenny. For those who don't know, one of the baddest guys on that piano, on that keyboard.
He bad on all instruments, but definitely on the keys. Yeah.
By the way, we need to sit down soon. Get with me. We're gonna sit down and tell your story. That's another legend who need to tell his story. That's how I met with him too. When I was doing the series with the music, somebody had brought him to play the keyboard, and then like you said, energy, man. He kept coming back for other people doing their stuff. Definitely a good person to have in your corner. So just
he kind of said, hey man, why don't you just come play with us? And then I start gigging with them, which turned into my own gigs, and then we just like been like a snowball effect ever since then.
Dope. So so now you're kind of doing I kind of seen you kind of been moving lately.
Yeah, we got Bragg Jam coming up, and if you're not familiar with Bragg Jam, it's a huge festival they do in the city of Macon every year. I think a couple of years they've had huge artists to come through. They had Tank and the Bangers. They had Shaka Khan one year to be the number one headliner. They had a couple rock groups. So it's really a huge. They shut down the whole downtown, and you kind of bar hop and see all different genres. So myself and Goody Supreme will be headlining this year.
Yeah, because I've been seeing you've been headlining clubs. shows.
Yeah.
Shout out Snap. Shout out Guap. I seen you on the Cypher recently, man.
Yeah, man. I shout out to Snap, man. Ray and all those guys, man. I kept saying like, nah. They would say, hey, man, Slum, do the Cypher. I'm like, nah. I'm really in my R&B bag. Do the Cypher, man. I told him no like 3 times, and it took my videographer, shout out Trail. He was like, man, just do it for the city, for the culture, man. I just want to hear you on there and talk your shit.
From behind the scenes, man, you know they gave me a call for that same Cypher. I was be on there with you. I was actually gonna do it, but by the time they needed everything in, the schedule just wouldn't allow. I'm upset. Especially I was upset already because I rock with Guap, so, you know, just want to do it out of support for them.
Yeah.
But then when I seen the video drop, I'm like, oh, y'all had Billie Slum on here? I miss rocking with Billy on one. I was a little sick to see. I didn't even know you was on there.
Yeah, man, they convinced me to do it. I'm glad I did it. It opened me up to, I guess, a different audience as well.
No, that's dope. And, of course, that verse is crazy. That's when I was like, oh, yeah, he's showing it. Because I had already seen you was moving around. And I was like, oh, he coming back like this? Because I knew you was on the R&B wave. I was like, oh, now he ain't playing around with him.
Yeah, I got some. Like I said, me and Goody Supreme, we did a project when we did the first interview. We was talking about that project. Me and Goody Supreme did together, like a joint project called Kingsfield. We coming back with another project we're gonna drop right before Bragg Jam. I'm not sure when this airs, but Bragg Jam, yeah.
This gonna air before, what's today's date, man? Because they waited long enough. I'm gonna put it on camera. That way y'all call me out if I don't do it. It's July 7th.
All right, so July 29th is Bragg Jam.
Yeah.
So we gonna have another, hopefully EP, not full-length project out by then.
Yeah, dope. Yeah, so y'all should be watching this.
So good, it got me back on my
probably Monday. Shit. Quote me on Monday. Quote me on Monday. Quote me on Monday. We gonna do that. But nah, this is dope. You've been moving for real. And then for those who don't know, obviously I had to wear it. It's crazy because I actually just started because I was gonna hang it up. But then I had tried it on one day. I was like, no, this is hard. Like I've been rocking this lately. Talk to your clothing brand too.
Yeah, Slum Child Clothing. I got on one of my tees today.
See, I didn't even know that was your tee either.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man. Slumchild.store if you interested in any of the gear, or you can DM me. However you want to do it, we will get it to you.
Absolutely.
Ship it to you.
Absolutely. Definitely good quality clothes, man. Like I said, I got it on right now. He ain't telling me to put it on. He ain't have to tell me to put it on, man.
I appreciate
that's
that.
Fire. But what else? I mean, like I said, you moving. I see you moving. What else is important for the people to know? What else you got going on that I didn't ask you directly?
Just more music. I'm coming back with another R&B project. I've dropped a couple R&B singles. Body Language is the most recent, so please check that out. It's something for the ladies, so definitely go check that out. My man Fresh up in ATL, he wants
Fresh Briscoe?
No.
Oh.
Lazy Fresh. You ever heard of the Weirdos production team?
I haven't, man. Hopefully I will one day. I feel awkward.
Yeah. He produced one of my albums called Time, Money, Dedication. It's like 2018. Like he did the whole album. So if you want to do your research, go back and listen to that. Definitely a different type of sound, man. He worked with all your big name artists up in the city. He kind of tapped back in, man. I want to do another EP with you. So. That's in the works. Like I said, me and Goody got something coming, and I'm gonna circle back around with the R&B. And that's really where my love is right now. The passion is the R&B, and that's also what's getting me obviously the shows and stuff.
Absolutely.
But for my core fans, if you want to rap, I got that coming too.
Absolutely. So, as a walking legend, like I say, as a walking legend for Middle Georgia, for Macon, for everything you've accomplished, you came from different eras. Like literally, you came from the real studio era to
DATs and all of that.
That Piff era to pre-streaming to streaming to through the streaming era. What advice as somebody who has wide range of experiences do you have to pass on to an artist that you feel like is important? Maybe something that you had to learn the hard way on your journey that hopefully you could tell them this and maybe they can avoid that. Stay
true to yourself. If you're going to be sincere and 100% in this music thing, know that it's going to be a lot of no's. Keep going till you get that yes, because that one yes is going to trump all those no's. Build your own sound. Create your own sound. Don't try to sound like nobody else. Have products, because like we already discussed, music streaming technically is not paying out like we would all like. Hopefully that changes in the near future, but build your brand. Like I said, I got clothing. your show, build your performance. Performance is gonna sell you forever. You know, you may have one song on streaming that may not do that much, but if you got a hell of a performance, people will book you for performances.
That's
so
a
that,
fact.
you know,
It's still artists
it's
traveling.
ways to get paid. Yeah,
It's still artists traveling from one hit song in 2002. Keep it real.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
That's dope.
So live performance, have your merch game on deck. People, if they buy into your brand, they will support everything that's attached to your brand. Don't necessarily focus so much on streaming numbers, because until they fix that, we technically don't know what's what. But again, just stay true to yourself and keep your nose to the grind, man.
Absolutely. Well, at this point, I feel like somebody who didn't know you, they literally learned your story from starting early in the studio with Otis Redding III.
Yeah, man.
Coming up through making OGs, sitting you to the side, to starting groups, staying with the groups, but going individual, signing contracts, leaving contracts, really discovering who you are, wide ranging as far as taking on the R&B side of yourself. I feel like you've given a lot of game, a lot of experience in this video. But like I always say, nobody knows you better than you. So I'm going to open the floor for you to anything else you feel like is important to your story, or just that you want to tell the people while the camera's rolling.
It's so much, man. We ain't got enough time to talk about all the stuff I've been through, man. But some of it I will say on camera, some I won't for obvious reasons. But we are on the brink of working on like a documentary for that type of stuff. So you'll get a little bit more in-depth stuff.
That's fire. Hey man, let me know how I can be involved in that. Just
hey,
sit here, listen
less.
to the story, man.
Say
That's
less.
fire.
It's a lot more to it, man. We just kind of scratched the surface, but
absolutely, yeah. Especially in this era where they doing like the Netflix docs on things like that. Like as a walking history book of making of just Middle Georgia talent, music. That's something that needs to be done, most definitely. And again, I just want to thank you for coming back for the second time, allowing me to hear your story. It's definitely a great story that I'm happy that I now will have the opportunity to put out to the world. And in all honesty, I feel like this was a more in-depth actually breakdown. Like before, that might just be obviously, of course, with me with being more experienced now than before too, just not so heavily focused on why I wrote this question. Let me just ask him this question. Like now, just truly just vibing, enjoying your story. Like really, I feel like I got to know you a lot better this time than the last time, and I truly appreciate that.
Hey man, everything happened for a reason, man. I truly believe that, and thank you again for having me back and your professionalism. So anytime you need me, man, just ring me up.
Oh man, I need this. This is walking history. Again, I'm grateful for the opportunity, because you could have sat and told your story to anybody. So for you to feel like this is the right platform to do it for, man, I don't take that lightly. It's definitely appreciated. But if you don't have anything else to say, again, I want to thank you again. I want to thank you on behalf of myself and my platform. I want to thank you on behalf of all the artists that you've touched, people who came to your shows and got to experience you live. I just want to thank you on behalf of everybody.
Follow me on my socials. We got performances coming up. I can't think of.
His social's gonna be in the video by now, so it would have been probably sprinkled through here a few times.
Cool, yeah.
If you haven't followed him by now,
tap
make
in,
sure,
please.
Tap in on all his socials, and definitely don't be the last one. Obviously, you done had his career spanning since what, 90, 98, 99?
98, 99.
He done gave you what, 20, 25 plus years to jump on the wave. But if you haven't, there's no better time than today. Definitely get in contact with him, start following him, start supporting him. And like I said, I'm grateful for this opportunity. But if you have nothing else to say, my name is Lawrence Ray, and we are done.